It's good to see everybody. Your Honor, you did not tell me. Can you all hear me? Your Honor, you did not tell me that this would be a full house. I thought it would just be us. But it's good to see some very familiar faces in this room. I see some smiling faces in this room. And I see some faces I do not recognize. But I will tell you all, like I told a group earlier, collectively, this is amazing to be together, to share in a genuine partnership that I think is a sincere investment in our next and youngest generation who need a path, who need support services, who need wraparound services. So the first thing I want to do is acknowledge the biggest partner in this room, and that is Family Court, and that is Your Honor. Thank you. Y'all, everybody give it up for the judge. The judges know me right out of college. I'll date myself. I've been out since 2003, so that's literally 20 years. We've both watched each other's career. Hers is way more impressive than mine, by the way. But her heart has always been pure. It has always been genuine. But it's always been intentional, too. And so for her to serve in this position as our head judge of family court and to make it be more about than just sitting behind this bench, but in the ability to offer the wraparound piece is impressive. So genuinely thank you in front of everybody. I also want to thank Carrie, high school. Don't tell nobody. She's known me longer than judge, y'all. But if you do not know, she's the executive director of Jefferson County Family Resource Center. And I can go back at least to 2017 in the front yard where we had a conversation about where we are today. And so 6 years later, it's great to see how you envision things come to life. So again, in front of everybody, thank you so much. And of course, Monique Greer, everybody, of Jefferson County Juvenile Detention Center. Now, I have an autopilot when I turn in off second. It is my intent to veer from this building and always go next door. I actually did that today by mistake. But that's my natural autopilot because I get a chance to spend time with Ms. Greer from time to time. She allows me to come to her facility and I get a chance with no cameras, just in a small circle to sit down and engage young boys, young girls who have gotten themselves in some trouble. But we peel all the layers back, and she's literally flanks me to my left or right, along with Brandon and some others. At a minimum of an hour, we just engage the young people. When I do talk to them, I talk through question form, and so I want to receive information from these young people about what's going on in their life. And I think that's a real reason for me to be able to stand before you all today, motivated to support this program that I know will be beneficial, impactful, and positive for our young people. So those are the three people I wanted to name. There are a gazillion other partners in this room. I can name all you by name. Do not beat me up, please. But I do want to say thank you, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, for participating, being a part of this. Judge Danny Carr, there's a seat up here for you. Get up here, sir. You cannot stand in the back like I do. Yes, your own spot. I'm not going to continue the program until you come sit down. Sorry. This is for you, sir. Has your name on it. Good to see you. To the Mayor Tarrant, to the Pro Tem of the Birmingham City Council, Crystal Smitherman, and to other VIPs in this room, important people, elected officials, servants, thank you. Let me say this, and then I'll take my seat and pass it to Your Honor. I have consistently stated that law enforcement alone cannot solve the problems related to crime. that if you have a toolbox, you have to have more than one tool in this toolbox. What we tend to do is only talk about one tool, and that tool is enforcement. But you need a minimum of 2 other tools in this toolbox, and that includes reentry efforts as well as prevention efforts. And I believe this program we're talking about today allows us to engage in a hybrid of both. Over the past year, we've invested in a strategy to focus on the root causes of violence and the continuance of care to better address, again, those 2 additional toolboxes I just named, prevention and reentry in addition to enforcement. And so the judge will tell you more because she can do this better than I can in spades. But today we launched the formal program of Restore, R-E-S-T-O-R-E. And we believe that goes directly to the strategy. So I want to give you some stats that are very hard, very direct, but you need to know them. 69% of youth between the ages of 13 and 22 who were murdered last year had prior family court contact. I want y'all to let that soak in for a second. Staggering statistic. I have another that is even more impactful, but you need to know it. As partners in this, you need to know it. Your Honor, I didn't see you, forgive me. 83%, everybody. 83% of the perpetrators under the age of 22 charged with murder or attempted murder last year had prior family court contact. Those are 2 staggering statistics. Am I saying that word right, DA? All right, thank you. Here's why you need to know those stats. This collaboration of all of you all in this room, every single person, allows us to provide support for those same youth, those youth families, to help create, 1, a stable, 2, a healthy environment for youth reentry efforts. Restore is not a solution. And what I mean by that, I need to rephrase that. Restore is not the solution. Restore is not the solution in isolation. But it is part of an overall collaborative strategy to address violent crime in our community. Again, looking at all the faces in this room, I missed the party y'all had before. I understand there were some nice beverages. They were non-alcoholic. But I'm extremely grateful for each of you. To everybody that's part of the family court family who works here every day. You see some tough things. Truthfully, I cannot imagine how you deal with it, how you shake off some of that negative energy that comes into this building, and you go home to your own families. It's probably something you all don't talk about, right? But I'll say it out loud to say that, in my opinion, anybody that works in this building and the everyday things you see, do, hear, and what you put out to literally help families, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And with that, Your Honor, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Family Court. It is a pleasure to have you all here for this occasion, as we are extremely excited about the Restore program. One of the things that we deal with here in Family Court is the rehabilitation of our children. Those that have been accused of acts that would be considered a crime if they were an adult, those are delinquency cases, are here to be rehabilitated. It's not about punishment, it's about making them the citizens that we know they can be and should be, given the proper resources. Before I get any further, let me say thank you to the mayor. Thank you, Mayor, for your support. Thank you to the City Council, Councilor Smitherman, for your support. Thank you to the City of Birmingham. Thank you to the City of Birmingham for your support of this project. This is a collaboration, as the mayor indicated. The G. Ross Bell Youth Detention Center and Ms. Greer, the Family Resource Center, Jefferson County Family Resource Center, and all of Ms. Bunton and her staff, as well as everyone at Family Court. We have probation officers, clerks and administrators, all who are here on a daily basis to make sure that this we can do the best possible for our children. And so I thank all of you as well. As the presiding judge of Family Court, I see a very large number of children who have delinquency cases. And some of the most serious issues are handled right here in this courtroom. And for every child that comes through here, we wrap services around that child. We try to determine what issues the child is facing and how we can help that child. And sometimes it is necessary for us to send the child to a facility away from their parents, away from their family, away from their homes, in order for them to be rehabilitated. And what we find generally is that the vast majority of those children do extremely well in a structured environment. They get good grades, they get certificates, they change their behavior, and they come back proud of themselves, exuding confidence and ready to take on the world. The unfortunate thing that we see is that with time, many of those same individuals start to backslide. And when we think about why that might be the case, it's clear that it's partially because they're placed right back into the same environment they came from, with the same triggers, with the same negative influences, and with the same challenges that they previously faced. And so the Restore program is essential. It can be transformational in that now we'll have the tools to be able to put services around the family as well as the child. Not just mama or daddy, but grandma if she's the custodian, auntie if she's the custodian, friend of the family if she's the custodian, the other younger children in the home as well. And when we do that, giving resources such as stable housing, employment opportunities, educational opportunities, things as simple as getting proper documentation so that they can take advantage of opportunities, mental health treatment, drug treatment. Connecting these families with all of these different resources and changing the environment in which our children return. So while they're away being rehabilitated, we're working on the family to make sure that when they return, they have the greatest chance at success. This is what the Restore program is all about, and that's why we're so excited. Because all we want for our children is to see them be successful, to be productive members of our society. And each of them has the ability to do so. We just have to give them a little bit more help. So, that being said, I am excited to announce the beginning of this Restore program. I'm excited that we have such a great group of individuals assembled to assist us in making sure that all of this happens. And I am thankful to the City of Birmingham for the funding in order to do so. Thank you, everyone. I have been told that the mayor and I are to entertain questions. So I'm going to invite the mayor back up here. We have an excellent team of individuals assembled who can help our children. We provide all different types of resources, including drug treatment, mental health treatment, assistance with getting jobs, assistance with school, getting back into school when they were pushed out the door because of whatever occurred in their lives, and getting them back on track. But of course, there are challenges. Some of the challenges are due to some resistance, perhaps, from those who might or should be supportive of our children. One thing that is true, and let me back up for a second. The mayor mentioned the percentage of children who are either victims or perpetrators of crimes who may have come through this court. Included in those numbers would be children who came here for dependency cases, meaning that they didn't have a parent who was ready, willing, and able to take care of them. And so we had to come through here for whatever reason to get a good custodian, or they're placed in DHR custody, right? Included in that would be children who have child support cases, right? Those whose parents are not taking care of the responsibilities within the home, okay? So sometimes the challenge is just getting those in their lives who should be supportive and providing discipline and care in a reasonable manner to do what they should do. That's probably the greatest challenge of all.
And this is going to piggyback off of what I just asked you. Why is it important for the parents or the families to be on board, I guess, to help promote that change within their child? Or I guess how detrimental is it to the child if the family's not on board?
Many of us have been blessed to have families that have been supportive and who have provided all the resources that we needed in order to be successful. Most of the children who come through family court do not have that. For our delinquency and our dependency cases, they don't have that. And so we have to try to build up the family so that they can receive that type of support. And it might not be mom and dad, it might be, again, auntie, grandma, or family friend who steps in and provides that type of support. But in order for the most successful children in our programs are those who have family support. And so that's why I think it's key to build up the family and to make sure that they are able to receive that type of support.
Outside of family court, what other agencies do you guys have to bring in or help?
We have a multitude of community partners, and I'm not going to attempt to name every single one of them because somebody will say we left them out. But let me say this, we have a lot of excellent community partners who provide services, every type of service that you can imagine we might need for our children. There's a community partner out there who's going to provide it, and we are happy to work with them, including mental health treatment, drug treatment, mentorship, which is huge and very important to our young children. It's just, there are a lot. So let me not try to name everyone.
Mayor, can you talk about, I guess, how many teams do you guys have in the program already, or are you guys working to identify those teams now?
So honestly, I can't. I would not be the best person to answer that question. The City of Birmingham is playing more of a support role, like many of the other partners you see in this room. There are other leaders that actually on the programmatic end and detail are quarterbacking that.
Mayor, this is the only violence prevention program that the city sponsored. Common Ground and Birmingham Schools is another example. What's the difference between the programs, and how, even though they're in their infancy, how long do you think it'll be before we start seeing results?
So I think you got a two-part question, if I'm correct.
That's one lesson.
Let's see if I can take the first part first. And so there are a multitude of programs on the prevention / reentry end that exists. You mentioned one, but the difference between the one you mentioned and this one is that one goes directly into schools. This is more of a partnership with a multitude of partners, and is not actually in the school's footprint. It's more so in the community footprint, as well as this facility's footprint. Relates to your second part of your question, how long? That is a question that I honestly don't have an answer, right? These programs are new. It will take some time. We don't necessarily have a date on how long it takes to produce. What we will be doing is tracking what's on the ground and be in a position to follow up with not just the media, but follow up with those same parents, follow up with other partners, follow up with the city council, because they've approved and blessed and supported so many of these programs from a purse string financial standpoint. We'll be in a position to share with everybody results as we continue to track information related to these programs.
Judge and Mayor, I promised I would free up this courtroom by at least 1:30, so we've got time for one more question. Anybody else?
I was curious, how are youth entering this program? Is it any youth that meet this criteria would be? Is there some limit? Are there other determinations?
I'm going to let Ms. Carrie Bunton answer that question. She is the executive director of the Jefferson County Family Resource Center, which will actually administer this program.
Thank y'all. And I just have to obviously, before I answer your question, say thank you to the judge and to the mayor, but most importantly to the city as a whole, because they very easily could have said only work with city kids. But if you look around the room, we've got Bessemer and Birmingham. So this is a countywide initiative. We've got our partners in Bessemer Housing, but it's going to take everybody in this room, the workforce development partners I see, the DAs that are here. It's going to take all of us. But to answer your question, there is a selection criteria. We are able to serve 120 kids, and so we will have a selection team that will involve our 2 Restore coordinators, 2 liaisons from G. Ross Bell Youth Detention Center, a mental health provider, and a substance abuse provider, and myself. So there's never going to be a tie. But the idea of it is to figure out which families can benefit the most out of this, not just the child that's in front of us, but the whole family. One of the things that that is also included in those statistics, which is in my opinion extremely important, is truancy. So all the kids who have not been to school, and if you put 2 years of COVID involved in that, I mean, it's kind of insane. Helping Families Initiative through the DA's office is a huge partner of ours, but I mean, they can talk to you about the percentage of kids that we lost between last year and re-enrollment. And so we are also trying to capture that. While I love the things that are going on in the schools, I love the HEAT curriculum. I think that is incredible, that conflict resolution on a level and dialogue that these kids can understand is important. But we're not talking about those kids. We're talking about the kids who do not thrive in traditional educational settings, who have been class 3'd or expelled, who refuse to go to school. And there are just really some powerful stories behind that. So our biggest goal is to identify families who we can help and who we can surround in services. We do not have, we are accepting referrals. Those go through our probation officers and through the selection committee. So we have identified some kids that we're already working with on our adolescent workforce development program, but this is much more intense than that. And I will also say additionally, we have hired 2 young men as our Restore coordinators to focus on what is really going on. And I'm sorry to do this to y'all, but Jermaine Stanton and Ansky Williams will be our Restore coordinators. So when we say we are trying to meet these families where they are and speak their language, we mean it.
Thank you. Thank you.